A lot of good work for our city. They're the nuts and bolts that keep the city running, and we appreciate that. And this year marks the 64th annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association. So in the city of Atwater, as the mayor, I proclaim the week of May 19th through the 25th as National Public Works Week. Please let your staff know that we really appreciate them. All right, now we're on to the consent calendar. Janelle?
Backward information has been provided on all matters listed under the consent calendar, and these items are considered to be routine. All items under the consent calendar are normally approved by one motion. If a council member requests separate discussion on any item, that item will be removed from the consent calendar for separate action.
Thank you. Is there any public comment regarding the consent calendar? If so, please come to the podium.
Mr. Mayor, if you please, I'd like to have item number 1, warrants pulled, and I have a series of check numbers. Do you want that now, or do you want to just go and approve?
Well, I would say for your 3 minutes, you should probably just say it now, because I'm not sure the council is going to pull it off the agenda. You know, I wouldn't count on that.
Okay, then I'll go through it right now. And just for point of clarification, check 25142. Coming out of the general fund, public safety and transaction, and CFD funds, Department of Forestry. I assume this is for payment of the contract with CAL FIRE, is it not? Yes. Yeah, it's in the amount of $1,278,503. So I would assume that's the contract. The second one I've got here is check 25162. And also, I find it ironic that the dates for all 3 of the items that I'm coming with are all for today. So I don't know why it's posted today, but nonetheless, let's see, where are we? Okay, check 25162, Griffin Structures Incorporated, Public Safety and Transaction Funds. I'd like to know what structures we have to buy with public safety funds. And lastly, check 25237, also dated for today. And this is to Vista Paint Corporation. And I know what this one's for is for paint to go and paint the fire station. A couple of things are particularly disturbing about this. Number one, at the March Oversight Committee meeting, there was no mention of painting the fire station. In December, there was no mention of painting the fire station. However, at the meeting of the 26th, I believe it was, the Planning Commission heard from Chief Ayuso about painting the station and was getting the colors approved by way of the Planning Commission. But the thing of it was, at the end of his presentation, he says, and it's all being paid for by Measure B. I'm sorry, folks, but this is an inappropriate expenditure from Measure B. It's nothing, how are we supposed to feel safer with the fire station being painted? We're not. That is not an appropriate expenditure. It should come out of fire department funding out of the general fund. And why it hasn't been brought up and why it wasn't brought up before the committee, the oversight committee in December and in March, that's another issue in and of itself. But the planning, or the oversight committee should have been appraised of this. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I would suggest that you set a meeting with the interim city manager to go over this stuff. You know that this is not the time that we have a debate between the council and the. Yeah. Yep. Glad to meet with you. Okay. So, is there anybody else would like to say something? Nope, seeing nobody come forward. Okay, I'm going to close public comment. Are there any items on the consent calendar for the council would like to remove for separate discussion or possible action? Nope, okay. I have one question. I do not want it pulled from the agenda. I just have a quick question for Justin on number 8 about the Tesco controls for the future storm pond basin. Where are we at on that as far as design work and not?
Yeah, the 60% design still it's still in the work. It should be done by June 1st, and we're still on time for construction to be this winter.
Okay, thank you. Okay, would any council member like to make a motion regarding a consent calendar?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Raymond, second by Button. Ambrose?
Yes.
Raymond?
Yes.
Button?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, now we're on to reports and presentations from staff. Item 9 is accepting the qualified bid, authorizing and approving a purchase order with Cook's Communication of Fresno for the lease purchase of 50 new Kenwood portable radios. I look forward to your presentation because this has been a long time coming.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, Chief Salvador. Earlier this year, we put out a bid call for the purchase of 50 new portable radios for the police department. The current police department portable radios, with the exception of about 7 of them, are over 7 years old. They were purchased back in the mid-2010s. They've come to the end of their service life, with parts becoming harder and harder to find, especially the batteries for those radios. So we put out an RFP based on the county's new radio system and its current radio system. We received bids from both Cook's Communications from Fresno and Motorola. The Cook's Communications bid was significantly cheaper than the Motorola bid. The police department had also purchased during this fiscal year 2 mobile radios from the same brand and the same setup. We've been testing them now for approximately the last month. They work just fine on the sheriff's radio system, so I'm not worried about that. The lease purchase of these radios is a cost-effective move. These are durable goods. They do last a long time. And in the current budget climate, fixing the cost over a 4-year period is much more advantageous to us than trying to come up with $170,000, $180,000 all at once. These radios also will provide the PD a new capability that they doesn't already have, except for the 7 radios purchased in 2020. With licensing and a computer, we can make them, I call them God radios. They'll talk to anybody, anywhere, anytime with just the addition of software licenses. So it'll give our police department a capability it's never had before. So I am recommending that we accept the bid, approve the bid. We'll make a $17,000 down payment as soon as I receive approval and we get a purchase order through the city manager's office. And then our first payment won't be until fiscal year 25-26. So we won't have to make a payment on these radios for a full fiscal year. I'll take any questions if you have them.
Council have any questions for Chief?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen to the old equipment? Is it just going to be e-wasted, or is it going to be sold through some type of buyback program?
That is yet to be determined, council member. We can either e-waste the radios. We can also surplus sell the radios after they've been blasted, make sure none of our frequencies are on it, of course. Or we could keep them for a city emergency. Police departments need batteries that last 12 to 14 hours at a time. But that doesn't mean that in the event of an emergency, and let's say we needed Public Works to assist us, we could use these as cash radios, charge them up. They may only need them 3, 4, 5 hours, but it would provide a communications capability we don't have with our Public Works Department.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? No? Okay. Is there any public comment on this item?
Just a point of clarification, if you need $176,000 for these radios, could that come out of, if there's any ARPA money left over? It's even probably an authorized expenditure for Measure B.
It's been sliced and diced both directions, including when the finance director and myself went over the fiscal year budget for the police department. This is the best alternative right now. Chief kind of alluded to it in his presentation that we've looked at all different forms of spending. This is the best version of this for the city right now. And more to follow. And if you have any further questions, Jim, as I invited you before, I'd like to go over some of this material with you. I can either reach out to you or you can come in either time. I'll go over it with you in detail.
Anybody else? See nobody else come forward. I'm going to close public comment. Who would like to make a motion?
I'll motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Button, second by Ambrose. Ambrose?
Yes.
Raymond?
Yes.
Button?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, item 10, approving equipment software lease purchase agreement with Axon Taser for the lease purchase of a body camera, in-car video, conductive energy weapon, and video evidence management system. Chief?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. This item serves a consolidation purpose. Currently, we have 3 different lease purchase contracts with Axon Taser. One for conductive energy weapons, the Taser, one for our body cameras, and then one for our digital evidence management system. In this current year's fiscal year's budget, we asked for in-car video, and the council budgeted for that in this fiscal year's budget. In analysis of the different lease agreements that we've had with Axon Taser, it became apparent to us that we needed to consolidate those into a single contract with a single payment. This item does that. It'll take 3 contracts, add in-car video, 1 payment, spread out over 10 years. This will fix this will protect the city against inflationary increases, and we all know what those are like here lately.
Also provides a cost saving, does it not?
It does.
Okay.
It does. It provides a cost savings. It has the same criteria as our current contracts. So they are, if the technology changes, we get the new stuff. If something breaks, we send it in, we get new stuff. So that spread out over 10 years really fixes the cost of this type of equipment, which is now 100% vital. It protects the city against inflation, and it keeps us on the forefront of technology for the next 10 years.
It's also common practice throughout the city when we have a vendor like this and several contracts open to consolidate it. It makes it a lot easier so that the individual departments in finance aren't chasing these things around. So thank you
Yes.
for that. You did a great job.
I'll take any question. That concludes my presentation. I'll take any questions if you have them.
Any council members have a question? Okay, not hearing any. Is there any public comment on this item? Not seeing anybody coming forward. I'm going to close public comment. Who would like to make the motion?
Moved.
Second.
Motion by Raymond, second by Ambrose. Ambrose?
Yes.
Raymond,
Yes.
Button,
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, that finishes up our action items. Now we're on to city manager report or update. Office of the interim city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Just real quick tonight, in addition to thank you, Chief, for great presentations tonight, I wanted to mention the multi-jurisdictional housing element for the city of Atwater. So your general plan is made up of several elements, okay, main chapters that control or give guidance to open space and public safety and the circulation of streets and highways throughout the city. It also provides a guiding policy document for how the housing should be treated for the city. Each 8 years, the Governor's Office of Housing and Community Development creates a cycle of housing, if you will. That housing cycle is a cooperation between state government, local governments on how housing policies shall be implemented and how a RHNA number shall be administrated, which is your regional housing needs allocation number, which how the state is growing, how your individual communities are growing, and how you would be dealing with those individual housing needs by policy and direction and land use. So the 6th cycle housing element is a bit of a booger. It's probably the most steep housing element that we have seen for the city in several cycles, spanning back, nearly 2 decades. It's a big number. When I first got here with the city was going to have imposed through the RHNA numbers the addition of 154 new units. With old numbers, made it about 174. We creatively found a way to solve that dilemma of creating inventory for housing need, available land space. Well, the state hit Merced County as a region with almost 27,000 new units, which the numbers for Atwater alone were about 3,017 new units. It was a tidal wave coming at us. So from a policy direction and from a needs direction, the state would allow us as a region, as Merced County, to develop a multi-jurisdictional housing element, which is what we've done. We've worked with a consultant. The statute period was January 2024. Obviously, the region did not have these policy documents adopted by that time. So we are shooting for the 1-year grace period, which means we have to have our upzoning and planning done in that period for January 2025. So we feel confident in being able to hit that number that date that's been given it to us by the state. That document hit the street today. The draft of it did. So it will be available via our website and an upcoming meetings such as the Planning Commission and some different meetings that the city already has planned, like our community services event, which is on May 29th. We'll be posting some information about the multi-jurisdictional housing element. It's only about this thick, so if you guys want, it's a quick read. So if you guys want to take a look at it. But there is some interesting new policy directions in there. If you have questions on it, we will give you a list of forums that will be available for you to come and ask questions on, and then look for an adoption of that policy document in January 2025 with the updated general plan to follow by about May, June of next year. So we are excited about that. We want to take every opportunity at a public event like this, public forum, to give some information and some updates about it. But because it hit the street today coincided with the council meeting, wanted to let everybody know it is available and look forward to your comments. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. We're on to comments from the public again.
At this time, any person may comment on any item which is not on the agenda. You may state your name and address for the record, however, it is not required. Action will not be taken on an item that is not on the agenda. If it requires action, it will be referred to staff and replaced on a future agenda. Please limit comments to a maximum of 3 minutes.
Okay, my usual statement here. Under the Brown Act, members of the public must address the council as the legislative body of the city, not other members of the public or staff. I am now opening public comment. Do we have any speaker cards?
Mayor, we do not.
Okay. If anybody would like to come speak, now is your opportunity.
I'd have been so disappointed if you didn't come out.
How I know you would. Well, after a very long period of time, my house finally got a water meter. And so when I got it installed, the billing for it, I assumed, and you know what happens when you do that, but in any case, a friend of mine who's already been on meter said, yeah, your bill's $172 and change. Well, how would you know that? Well, that's what my bill is. It's $172 every month, unless I go over the allotted gallonage or whatever for water, and then I pay more on top of that. So here's my question. Why is it that I pay more, the city can track it, and I can get more water and pay more? Why can't it work the other way? For example, if I go out of town for a month and I don't have anything turned on, and I'm still going to pay $172 for that month. I get it that, you know, I have to, the water and the sewer kind of go hand in hand. And then the garbage is, you know, something that's a fixed cost. I get that. But I don't understand why it is, if I save on the water, why I can't be compensated and adjusted for that. Also on top of that, we're going to get another rate increase, I believe at 3.5%. And then on top of that, you've taken away or are taking away the senior discount, which I qualify for. So this water stuff is a little bit exasperating, guys. And, you know, there's nothing incentivizing me to save water if I'm going to be fixed with $172 plus every month. Thanks.
And I am glad you brought that up. But first of all, does anybody else have any other public comment? I will address that when I have my comments.
All right, Rich Miller, 334 Silva Drive, pastor of Victory Baptist Church, 1280 Sierra Vista Street here in Atwater. Just wanted to come and invite the council and staff and the community once again, as we'll be honoring our hometown heroes this Sunday at 10 a.m. We'll have a representative from our police department, the sheriff's department, highway patrol, as we've done the last several years. There'll be a meet and greet at 9:30 with coffee and donuts, all right? And then at 10 o'clock, we'll have our service, patriotic music, our plaques to give away to our hometown heroes for this year. And then we'll have a free barbecue for anyone who attends. So we just want to invite all of you out. Once again, that'll be 10 o'clock this Sunday.
Thank you. Chief Ayuso.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, members of the public. Apologize for my tardiness. It was a little bit busy of an afternoon today. Had a couple quick things that I just wanted to bring to the public's attention as well as the council, as it's been getting hotter and drier, and over this next week we're going to experience quite a bit of heat increase. We did conduct our first round of weed abatement inspections last week. Give it a couple weeks, 2 to 3 weeks before we go out and do our re-inspections, but we should start seeing some of those issues being addressed and getting more compliance. So we did start receiving some information from or questions from the public as far as different properties and that sort of thing, but I just wanted to address that. And then the second thing, per the mayor's request, I do have pancake tickets on June 1st. We have brought back a pancake breakfast. It's going to be at Station 42. We're starting early on our toy drive event, so all the proceeds, very similar to our tri-tip dinner, which we will still plan to do in November, December. This is just going to raise money to provide those gifts for the less needy or more needy children during the holidays. So, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll do, anybody else? Okay, nope. I will close public comment. So now we'll do council reports. We'll start with Mr. Button.
Yeah, I just want to take a little bit of time to thank the Public Works and Parks and Rec Department. You know, Greg's team, Justin, Renee, their teams have been doing a great job. I've got some kids in Little League this year, and I've just been hearing from folks around town. A lot of people have a lot of positive things to say about how Osborne's looking, and just our other parks in general. But but yeah, the fields are looking really good. I'd put those fields up against any other park, and I heard we're even getting some people that are inquiring about wanting to use our park from out of town. Some out of town folk that want to use it for different tournaments and stuff like that because they're looking so good. So just want to thank you guys for, sometimes you don't get enough thanks because, parents are out there and, they don't see you guys, but, and they don't always come here to say thank you, but I hear people really appreciating it. So the parents really appreciate it too, and the kids. So thank you.
Mr. Raymond.
I have nothing.
Even better. Mr. Ambrose.
I have nothing as well.
Okay. So just a couple of things here. So regarding the water, you will be getting every water sewer customer will be getting a letter in the mail. Their next, that come with the next bill, or
It will be a separate notice.
separate letter. Okay. So I looked at that today, and you can go online and read it on the city website. It's an excellent website. I wish our general plan guys had done as good a job. I mean, it's well done. There's FAQs in there. There's a video that talks about why you have to look at raising sewer rates or sewer water rates, and what that all pays for, and et cetera. And it's like a 2-minute video. So anyway, that's coming. Also, I'd like to thank Justin for doing the SB1 thing in the consent calendar. I read through all the streets in there. If you want to know where the sidewalk and road maintenance money is going to go in this next fiscal year, it's right there in that agenda item. You can get that online. It lists all the streets where things are going to get done. It's supposed to get done, put it that way. And then I want to say too, I went along on a ride-along with Officer Goodwin for the PD last Friday. I would encourage all council members to do that. You can really get that firsthand look at what goes on in this city, better than just 30,000 foot overview. And that kind of brings me to the weed situation, because we were over there by what do we call that, the end of Sycamore, that big field over there, and we got the homeless, and they're under the overhead again, and they had a fire going, a cooking fire, I guess, and it's dry grass all around there. So before, and I know Mount Bullion crew's coming in a couple months to do the weeds along Atwater Boulevard. If you could put a good word in to get them to come sooner, because they won't have much to do when they finally get here, because I think it's going to burn before they ever make it here, and it looks bad too. I mean, it just looks bad. So okay, very good. And that's all I had, and we do not have any more closed session, so the meeting is adjourned. Thank you for being here.